Here with volleyball coach Mike Lester. Coach, 2013 is upon us. I know you guys have been working real hard off season and now into your preseason. Things kick off this weekend with the Ground Round Sugarloaf Classic. Talk a little bit about these first couple of weeks and what you've seen from the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's been a really fun preseason. The ladies are working really hard, competing really well, probably at a higher level that we've competed in practice in a long time, and they're pretty anxious to get out and play somebody else.
Talk a little bit about you've got a number of very talented returners back. You mix that in with some really good with newcomers, transfers, and freshmen. You've got a very solid unit this year.
Yeah, it's an interesting mix. Like you said, we've got some really key performers for us last year back in Lexi. Lex Krogstad, Mary Nordic, Molly Grover, a good number of returners. And then we've got a lot of good young players that have come into that mix in our freshmen, and then you mentioned our two transfers. So, and a new player as well in Mackie Fadness coming over from our hockey team. So it's a good mix.
How important are these first couple of weekends? I know, you play so many of your games are non-conference games, you play so many of them in tournaments, but how important is the Ground Round tournament and then next weekend as well, just to kind of see where you're at?
Yeah, they really are important. And I think any coach would tell you, those preseason type tournaments that we're going to be playing now before our conference season start are a really good way to really try to figure out what your lineup's going to be, what your team dynamic is going to be. And in the next 2 weeks we play 10 matches. That's a third of our season in the next 2 weeks. So we really have to jump right in and get going.
And depth, I'm assuming that we're going to see some different lineups this weekend because you do have that depth. You don't have to rely on one specific lineup because you're a very deep team this year.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting weekend here for our first 4 matches. There are going to be a lot of different lineups played, a lot of kids getting a good opportunity to see what they can do. And right now we're still not sure who's going to be in what spots. So it's exciting, but it's also a little bit nerve-wracking.
You've had the Sugarloaf Classic for so many years, right, and yet it seems like every year you're able to get some new teams in, and you get to see some new teams. I know you look at this year's tournament. Dominican is one that stands out, a team that went to the NCAA tournament last year. You've got them in your bracket or your 4 games. Right. Talk a little bit about the opponents you're going to be playing and what you are kind of expecting this weekend.
Sure, yeah, it should be a good weekend of volleyball all the way around. And like you said, we played Dominican, who was an NCAA tournament team last year. They were an at-large selection, so it wasn't that they just won their conference to get in. They were chosen by the NCAA committee. We've got Lakeland, who comes out of that same conference and is historically a very strong team in that league. And then the next day we follow it up with Luther and who do we play our last match? I'm not quite sure. But it's going to be good. We've got those teams. Oh, and St. Scholastica, who's coming in out of the UMAC. So again, top teams in their league makes it fun here at our tournament.
And it's here on our campus. It's really traditionally we've had great turnouts in terms of fans. It's kind of a fun way to get the season started. As a coach, I don't want you to put a record on it, but what do you expect when we talk on Monday? What do you expect to be hoping to have seen this weekend?
Sure, yeah. It is, like you said, Donnie, really nice to be able to play on our home court the opening weekend of the year, create some energy on our campus. And for us, really, we've talked a lot about our team. We don't necessarily want to be playing our best volleyball of the season this weekend. We want to get better. We want to be able to come out and show that we're going to work hard, we're going to compete, and hopefully if we do that, we're going to be talented enough to win a few matches this year.
Season kicks off this Friday and Saturday, the Ground Round Sugarloaf Classic here at St. Mary's. Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Donnie.